All right, for shared reading this week, we have a nonfiction book. That means it's a real world book. It's called Up, Down, and Around. It looks like these kids are on a roller coaster. Let's flip it over and see if there's a summary on the back. Oh, there is. It says, rides are fun. The rides at the fair can be lots of fun. Find out all the different ways they move. I have a question for you to think about before we start reading. Have you ever been on a ride before, either at an amusement park, maybe at the fair, maybe at Disney World? Can you think about that for a minute? Can you think of your favorite ride that you've ever been on? Let's see if, let's just take a little quick picture walk and let's see if the ride you were thinking of is in this book, okay? So here's a roller coaster. Are you thinking about a roller coaster? Here's a water ride. Have you ever been on a water ride and gotten all wet? Maybe in Wisconsin Dells. I spy a Ferris wheel and a roller coaster. Have you been on one of those? Here's the caterpillar or dragon ride. Have you ever been on that? A merry-go-round. At Six Flags, they have a double-decker merry-go-round. Have you ever been on that one? Here's that water ride. You have to wear your swimsuit, right? Because you're going to get all wet. Have you ever been on the teacups? This is kind of like my favorite ride. I like the tilt-a-whirl, and it's kind of like the teacups because it's a spinning ride. Oh, here's the train. How many of you have ridden the train at the zoo before? That's a good ride. And the swings. I bet you've been on this maybe at the fair. And the merry-go-round again. Was the ride you were thinking of in this book? You had a different one. I can't wait to hear what your favorite ride is at the fair. All right, let's read today. Okay, up, down, and around. Up, down, and around. The rides at the fair move in many different ways. They go up and down and around and around. That's what makes them fun. Here's a sidebar. Remember we learned about that in our last nonfiction book? It says each ride can go fast or slow too. That's why there's someone controlling it, right? Have you ever gotten on the ride and seen the person pushing the buttons to turn it on and off and make it go faster and slower? Roller coaster. This is called the header. You need to read that on every page so you know what the page is going to be about. The roller coaster rolls slowly up the hill. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And then it speeds down in a flash. Zoom! It says down. Here's our sidebar. Some big roller coasters can go around in a loop that turns riders upside down, like at Six Flags. Notice they have a label here with a directional arrow. It says down. The roller coaster is going down the hill. And on this side, it says up with an up arrow. It must be clicking up the hill. Merry-go-round. Look at all the colors on the merry-go-round. As the music plays, the horses go around and around. Here's the label, around and around, and they drew kind of a curvy arrow. Some horses go up and down as the merry-go-round turns. Whee! Many merry-go-rounds have other animals to ride, like rabbits. There's a rabbit. This arrow says up, and this arrow says down. The animals go up and down. Water slide. Now it's time to get wet. The raft slides down in a zigzag path. It goes this way and that way. Swish, swish, swish. Here's that zigzag, so they drew a zigzag arrow. It slides all the way down into a big, cool pool. Splash! Down. On some water slides, you can slide down all by yourself without a raft. Those are called body slides, right? Teacups. It's teacup time. At first, the teacups just move around in the middle, but that's not all they can do. Here's a round. It goes in a big circle around the outside. It takes some work, but you can make your teacup spin too. It spins faster and faster. Dizzy, dizzy. Riders pull on the wheel to make the teacup spin. So you and your partner have to turn the wheel really hard to make the teacup spin. This is kind of when we learned about the earth. Remember how the earth spins in its own circle once a day, but then it's also going in a big circle around the sun? Remember that? Train ride. All aboard. The train rolls slowly forward as it starts to go. Forward. Then it turns on a big curve in the tracks. Toot toot. It's turning. The engine at the front pulls the train. And then you get to ride in the passenger cars. Swings. You don't have to pump your legs to make these swings move. First they lift you up. Then they spin you around and around. Whoosh. Around and around. Look at that. Those are some crazy wild swings. Do ours at school do that? No. The faster the swings spin, the higher you go. The riders at the fair move in so many ways. They move up and down and around. Which rides would you like to try? Did you have a favorite in that book? I told you I would like the teacups because they remind me of the tilt-a-whirl at the fair. All right, in this book, I had some highlighted words. Let's go back and look at those words. These are action words. They tell us how the ride moves. This word is go, right? The rides go all different directions. This word says, can you sound it out with Mrs. West? Rolls. Rolls. The roller coaster rolls up the hill and it rolls down the hill. That's how it's moving. Oh, this one, let's sound it out. Earns. Earns. Turns. The merry-go-round turns in a circle, right? Around and around. What does the water slide do? How do you move on the water slide? Oh, there's a blend. Slids? Does that make sense? Let's try the other I sound. Slides. Slides. Do you slide on a water slide? You sure do. Remember, those vowels, you have to try both sounds. This one, here it is. Can you help me? I see a P blend, a sp, in. Oh, there's a sight word hidden in there. Sp, in, spin. The teacups spin in a circle, right? What does the train do? How does it move? It rolls. Rolls. Rolls? Does that make sense? No, let's try the other O sound. Rolls. 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 Does the train roll forward? Yep. What else does it do? Earns. Turns. It turns around the curve, right? And last one. How do the swings move? They spin. Awesome. That's a lot of different ways that those rides move. I have a question for you. I want you to turn and talk either to a grown-up, a brother, a sister, anybody who's in your house, a pet, a stuffed animal. Can you talk about different ways that the rides move at the fair besides what we talked about in this book? Can you think of a different way a ride moves? Maybe your favorite ride? Does your ride move up? Does your ride move down? And then can you tell Mrs. Quist how your ride moves? Does your ride move so fast or kind of slow or zigzag or spinning? There's so many action movement words, right? Those are called verbs. Can you say that word? Verb. It's a word that tells me how things are moving. All right, good job today. Thanks for reading with Mrs. Quist. Hasta pasta.